Welcome to the second in the series of Dad's Bucket List Recipes. Today we're going to make sweet potato casserole. I'm going to try to make it quicker than the last one, but the last one was more complicated. So for the sweet potato casserole, you need some sweet potatoes. This happens to be sweet potatoes and syrup, yams, whatever, about 40-ounce can, so about that big. You can double this recipe, but if you do, all you need to do is double the amount of sweet potatoes, because the topping and stuff I'm going to make can work. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. You're going to need some flaked coconut, brown sugar, butter, pecans, chopped. I need them chopped up better than that, so I'm going to chop those up better. You'll need some ground cinnamon, either real vanilla or imitation vanilla. It doesn't matter. To me, you'll need a couple eggs, and it's good to have some. I'm going to melt some butter in here. You want about a medium-sized casserole dish and a couple mixing bowls, and one of these things. Okay, so let's get started. Well, the first thing we're going to do is to do the thing that's a mixture that goes over top of the sweet potatoes. So you need a couple eggs. You'll need your sweetened condensed milk. Just pour that right in there. Okay. You can try to scrape the rest of that out. It's no big deal. That's about enough anyway. You're going to need about a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to go ahead and use imitation vanilla. It doesn't matter. About a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay. It says salt. You want about a half teaspoon, or what they say. I forgot to mention at the beginning. Yeah, you need salt a little bit, just like a half teaspoon or something like that of salt. We're going to need melted butter, but we're going to use that in a second. So you just want to mix this up. You can use the hand mixer if you like. You don't want to beat this until it gets fluffy or anything. You just want it well mixed. Now, if you read through the recipe, it talks about butter. We're going to need melted butter, and that's when I'm going to add this now. And you want to put it in a microwave-safe dish and nuke it in the microwave. Now, you also need butter for the, I'm sitting here chopping up the butter just so it melts a little easier. You also are going to need butter for the topping, so you might as well go ahead and do it all at once. This is going to end up being about 2/3 cup once it's melted down. So we're going to melt that down and put about half of it in the mixture. Well, I've got the butter mixed up, and I almost forgot to add cinnamon at this point. I put cinnamon in both the mix and the topping. I didn't used to do that. And in the early days, I didn't put any cinnamon in it. Oh, a bit went in there. So I want about a teaspoon or so of cinnamon in there. Just mix that all in there. And then I've got my melted butter. I'm going to try to put about 1/3 of a cup in there. This is 2/3, so I'll just do half of that, or thereabouts. Just mix that right in. It looks like French toast stuff. Again, you don't have to have a hand beater. It makes it quicker, but you don't want to whip it up. You want it to be like this, and it's real thick, if you're wondering. And the funny thing is, you may not use all of that. It depends on the size of your casserole. Now, when I'm making the topping, for years I didn't use pecans. And you can skip pecans, but it does make it better. These are chopped pecans, and I should have got what they call pecan pieces. Just little bitty pecans. So I'm just going to chop these up, and I'm probably going to use about a half a cup of pecans in there. You could use walnuts if you like black walnuts. That would be good. So I'm going to chop these up a little bit better. I'll do that off camera. We need about a cup of the coconut. So that's about right. That's a half cup, and I'm just kind of overflowing it. So about a cup. You'll need to put in your brown sugar at this point. And we're going to use about a half a cup of brown sugar to that. You just want to toss that together. Again, I do like the cinnamon with it. And I've started to put cinnamon in both. And it's good that way. So you want about a teaspoon of cinnamon in there or so. Let's just say a half teaspoon, because that looks about right. So half teaspoon of cinnamon. Then you got to add some flour. So let's see about how much I use. So that's about a half a cup of flour. So I think I used about 3/4 cup. So we're going to put another 1/4 cup. So yeah, we're going to use 3/4 cup of flour in this mix. We should go ahead and add our pecans, which turn out to be, we're going to use 1/4 cup of pecans in our little mix. I think that's going to be about right. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Now you're going to take your butter. I've got the melted butter that I melted before, and let's see. This is about half a cup of melted butter, and we're going to see how much it takes. Now, how much it takes is enough to make a crumbly mixture. If you miss it, you can always add a little more flour. So there it is. That's what I like it to look like. So it wasn't quite half a cup. It wasn't quite half a cup. It was probably about a third or a little bit more cup of butter until I get it crumbly like that. Okay, so that's your topping. So I just cut off the lid. You just hold the lid like that. Drain them out. You don't need any of that stuff in there. Take your sweet potatoes, put them in your dish, and you just kind of crush them down. You don't really want to mash them. If you did, it probably wouldn't hurt anything. And you know you've done right when it covers the bottom like that by, about an inch or so. And you can go higher on that. There's, if you wanted more potatoes, you could just do that and just add the filling. It's really whatever you like. But this tends to be the way I do it. So when you're like that, you're done with that. So you take your mixture here and you're going to pour it right over to the top. You don't mix these two together, you just pour this on the top until you're completely covered. Okay, so that looks about right. And I see I've got some left over. I just don't need that. If I had a little bigger casserole, I might use that. Okay, we take our topping that we had done, and you just crumble that over the top. I don't know if you can tell, but it kind of goes into that mixture. So you can see it kind of going into that mixture that's pulled down there, and that's what you want. It's probably about as much topping as it is filling, but that's good. That's the way everybody likes it. If you ate at our house Thanksgiving 2018, this is what you ate. Okay, so that's it. So I guess if I made a bigger casserole, I'd probably have to double that topping, wouldn't I? But that's not a hard thing. So that's it. That's what it looks like. You're going to bake that at 350 degrees until this gets nice and brown. It takes about 35 to 40 minutes. Don't need to overcook it. When it's brown, you don't want it to get burnt looking. It's done. When it's brown, it's done. But again, about 35, 40 minutes. You can pre-make this and put it in the refrigerator to save you some time when you're doing dinner. All right, we'll take a look, see what it looks like.